I got you on here. You live.
All right. Good afternoon, family. This is Thursday morning, the first day of spring, or whatever you want to call it. It's a little cold and snowy here, but it is what it is. This is Brother Elliott McCants, the Black Watch. I know we missed y'all a couple times. We was there. We had Sunday, right? We was on Sunday. Yeah, we was on Sunday. We just missed Tuesday. You know, family stuff, school stuff, things happen. But we back today with Brother Elliott McCants and Uncle Mickey Jordan here, the host with the most. So we're glad, and hopefully you all can join us and chime in on some things. But as we're still continuing to talk about this letter and this system, and we're still here talking about things that we can do better for us and our children. I'm going to go back to reiterate what we talked about the last time. And we talked about being able to, or forcing yourself to, or making and taking the time to be active in your child's educational life. If you're active in your child's sporting life, athletic life, you have to be just as much, if not more active in their academic life. They're going to go through all kinds of stuff, have all kinds of different teachers. People are going to, oh, I don't want to go to school. I don't like school stuff. And the family dynamic's going to change. But number one, the first solution of making sure that they are able to get through this system, regardless of the changes that may or may not be being made in the government about whatever, is number one, don't care about that. Number two, be involved. And number three, become learned. You have to learn as well. You have to study as well. You have to know as well. Whatever your cultural idea is, whatever your viewpoints are, you have to know. And then you also have to learn about what's going on in the world. This is even though I'm a historian, Uncle Mick is the historian of the politics. So he's watching what's going on politically. I'm learning from him as well. So this is a fair exchange of information. So when we talk about the political arena and the political scene, not only just locally, but statewide and national and even globally sometimes, I'm learning. And I'm not afraid to say that there's stuff I don't know, but there's a lot of stuff I do know. And there's a lot of stuff he knows as well. So we feed off of each other and we feed each other, and that's important. The other thing that I'm going to point out is socially is that if you don't have friends around you and people around you and family around you that want to learn some stuff so that they can be better and more knowledgeable, why do you have them? It's okay to have, your work fun balance and to go out and have your trips and do things like that. Do it. But always be willing to study, always be willing to learn no matter where you go. And your friends have to be those persons as well. If you're the catalyst, right? So let me use myself as an example. If you come into my house, there's books all over the place. There's books, there's artwork, there's instruments, and it's always been that way. And it's okay to come in, grab a book, read from it, have a discussion about it if you want to talk about it, eat some food, drink whatever is there to drink. But it's about learning and sharing. And for us, as we're looking at this through and at what's going on in our world, we have to make a decision about what are we going to do to make sure that our children are protected and armored. And you can only arm yourself with your culture. If we get constantly told that our culture doesn't matter, that's them telling us that our culture doesn't matter because they've been trying to erase it for thousands, hundreds of years anyway. Meanwhile, if you go look at the monuments in the world, Easter Island, those great monuments, the Olmec heads in South America. Go to any museum that's a prominent museum, and they have all of our artifacts there and our ancestral artifacts there. And if you really, really, really want to look at some stuff, you go look at the Great Pyramids. They weren't called pyramids, but the actual original Kemetic name escapes me right now. But you look at pyramids. Those are monuments to the person that we come from that built this. Not only this country, but we built them. They're still standing. The only reason why they look like steps, and I think I said this before, is because when the Arabs come in and invaded the Hyksos, they took the outer layer of the pyramids off in order to build their mosque on our land, our ancestral land. And there's a saying that the deeper you dig, the blacker it gets. Even the ancient dynasties in China were African people influenced them. Go study. Even if it's just one thing to know. I don't care if you study the inventors that were here. And even though I'm teetering between how I want to deal with that and what I want to be able to teach, it's both. Really, I guess it's going to be both and. But we should know, and those things should be in our homes. That's Brother Chris. I don't know that much about what you're talking about. I've heard some things, but I can't say that I'm 100% in agreement with what that ideology is, because there's no physical evidence that I've seen that says something about the Grand Canyon being something else. I don't know. But if you got some information that I can do some research with, really real information, and not people's thoughts and guesses, and just I was dreaming and whatever, and I came up with this stuff, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in hardcore documentation. That's what I base my stuff off, my studies on, hardcore documentation. So if you got it, send it, and we'll go research it. But I'm not interested in talking about people's stuff that they put on Wikipedia, because no. This letter, this system, has been made to divide us. Brother Mickey's my brother. Brother Chris is my brother. We've never met. That's fine. For whatever his wonderful reason, there's Miss Jazz. How you doing? We're glad you could join us. And for whatever his reason, Brother Chris Caleb always finds us. He might have missed us a couple of times, but he always finds us. That's my brother. And if he has some information I don't have, share it. Now, I can tell you whether I can find it acceptable or not. I don't care. At the end of the day, we should be fighting for our liberation. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. It's about our liberation. So any information that we can have in our warehouse, in our storehouse, in our home libraries that is going to enhance our ability to be able to inform people against the propaganda that looks to destroy us all the time. Information is powerful. Okay, you said the archaeologist was killed trying to go in the Grand Canyon, and it's public information. Well, share something with me so I can go find it instead of looking at, just share it with me, and then I'll see, if it's something I want to continue to investigate worthy, So, not saying it's not. I'm just saying share it with me. Information is information, because I'm reading a book now Um, it's in my truck actually, and it talks about young black men in school and how every person. We were just talking about this earlier about people of color, especially especially black men, are going to always be vilified by by the other group because they have the power to write the narrative. But yet we're not writing our narrative. We're not writing our own narrative. We're not teaching our own narrative. Okay, he said he sent the information to you, and he posted on his page and the Flint Reboot page. Okay, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Hopefully it's a book, with some. But anyway, that's just me. I like books, but you know, it, and we're not saying that all information is not valid. But how does the information help us to number one, fight the propaganda, and number two, learn how to be liberated from this other ideology, because it is about brainwashing. This other ideology that says you all are this, and we're going to erase everything that you ever done out of the books, and we're going to, even in ancient Kemet, they're over there trying to whitewash the stones and paint them differently. Talking about they trying to preserve them. But yet, look at King Tut. If you see pictures of Tut, and Tut looks the way he looks. No. That's not what Tut looked like. Tut did not look that way. He's a dark-skinned man. What they want to make him look like is a little Indian boy. No, he didn't look like that. The Arabs had, yes they had. There was the first invasion by the Arabs that they had gone in and mixed race. But he was still a dark-skinned child, young man. But they want to make him look like a little boy and almost effeminate. No, that's not what he looked like. Okay. Taz, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. All right, great, man. What did you hear about? So again, we have to surround ourselves in our homes with information, books, articles. I don't care what it is that's going to help change the narrative to our children. So, and I promise you, at the end of the day, what should not happen is when your child get home, they don't hear from you and your information that you have to present. They're going to hear from the other side, the other group. Oh, we don't want you to teach that stuff because it's going to make people, their feelings hurt. Really? Ask the man that got 100 lashes how he felt. Ask the people that got hung and lynched how they felt. Ask the people that got burned at these picnics how they felt. So, but we want to ignore that. Yeah, well, especially at the Vatican. So when I get ready to go over to Rome, I'm going in the Vatican and I'm going to sneak in the libraries down there. Now, y'all probably never see me again, but at least I'll have read some of those books before they got me. Ha! Little mama, thank you for joining us. But no matter what the information is, as long as it's got something to do with who we are and what we're about, get it and read it with your, not to and with your children. They have to know. They have to know that.
Yeah,
what is? Yeah, it's playtime's been over. Playtime's been over a long time. Playtime's been over 50, 60 years ago. But we still out here partying and playing around and all of this other stuff and everything else, and still think that getting locked up is the key to life and that makes me whatever. Get out of here. That's insanity.
Yeah.
That's insanity. And why do we? But of course, what did we say earlier? You have the other group, your European group of people that vilify and promote people that they want to paint a picture of as something negative. and it's a negative group of people. That picture is out of order. But why do we support them either? We shouldn't support them. I'm not interested in supporting some dude that, you know, oh, you was on. No, bro, why was you doing the stuff that you was doing? You was out here in the streets destroying, being destructive in the community, and you brag about it? You know, you can't, we no.
Yeah, that's what we was talking about earlier.
Yeah, we was talking about that earlier. You know, that's the wrong message, but that's the message they send out, because what does that tell our young people? Because our young people don't have anything to balance it. Right? Our young people don't have anything to balance it. So when we talk about, do our kids know right or wrong, they do, but they don't care because there's nothing to balance it. I'm going to take your phone. I'm going to take your phone. I'm not taking your phone. We getting ready to get out here and we getting ready to put this work in.
Right.
But heck, you can keep the phone. You're going to need it. But you take a phone, you put, what kind of punishment is that? They don't deserve to have a phone no way. What are you saying? What they using a phone for? Do I support Trump? Bro, are you serious? I support African people. Period. That's who I support. That are righteous and right and are trying to do the right thing. That's who I support. As a matter of fact, to be honest, I didn't vote for either one of them. If that answers your question.
Oh, shit.
Yo, did you see what he asked? Like,
I
come on, man.
Kamala Harris. I'm just going to say.
Yeah. Well, and that was fine. But I had my reasons because as a student of history, the Native Americans said what? Left wing, right wing, same bird.
Right.
So were we going to get anything different if we voted for her as compared to him? No. Because, yeah. You had to ask, though. Of all the times you've been listening, you can't tell what my rhetoric is about, bro? You didn't have to ask. He played too much.
Nah, he good people, though. Chris good.
Yeah.
But I get it, though, because you know what? Like, how we be talking. See, a lot of us is trapped in politics.
Yeah.
We actually, so many of us think.
We think that system's going to help us be free. It's not. So let me be very clear, Mr. Chris. I ain't going to call you that because we didn't run enough in order to know. I'm going to call you by your first name. I am a proponent of if I got a loaf of bread and he got a chicken, we're going to eat. We're going to eat. If I got potatoes and he got a steak, we have steak and potatoes. I'm not trying to go to somebody else's restaurant when I can have dinner with somebody that I'm close to, that's my family, and I prefer to with them because I feel safer being with them because we share the same ideology. And so therefore we can break bread with each other. Okay? That's who I am. That's just a tiny bit of who I am. So, to answer your question, it is about us first, race first, Garveyism, others that were like that, Martin Delaney, David Walker, just so you know where I'm coming from. So if you got books on some other stuff, go get books on people who are arguing about us first. Martin Delaney, David Walker, who wrote David Walker's Appeal, Martin Delaney, C.L.R. James, even Dr. Du Bois, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, who was a staunch Pan-Africanist. More so than what I thought. He was, man, I'm trying to get every book he read, every book article he wrote. Because he was real. You don't have the revolution on the continent without him teaching the brothers from those Jomo Kenyatta, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba. They were his students. So when they go back to Africa, they're like, did we taking this documentation, this information, and we're going to go over here and we started the revolt against the colonial rules.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, you had enough sellouts on the inside in order to get rid of them, but they planted the seed and they planted the idea. Later on in the 80s, you get Thomas Sankara, which now we talk about Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he got his ideology from. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm coming from. That's where I'm coming from. Because at the end of the day, if you're around, you got to eat too, and you're gonna eat with us. That's how I get down. If I got a freezer full of food, nobody should be hungry. If you don't ask, I don't know.
Right. That's right. Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I see it like a lot of us do think. I just don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you done got some benefits. I'm not gonna say that, but I do also believe us not challenging the Democratic Party fires the blacks, asking for more. You can go to any other group. They get some tangibles.
Okay, they get tangibles. Why? Why do they get tangibles as compared to us?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Because we were formerly owned by them, so they figured the little bit of crumbs that we get, that's enough for you. So the other groups go get whatever. You got an Asian hate bill, you got a Jewish hate bill, you got all these other hate bills, but you don't got an anti-black hate bill. You don't got a don't kill black people bill. Why? I formerly owned you. Right? Just like if you go to England and you see somebody from India over there, they get treated worse than the African people over there because India was formerly a colony of England. So I formerly owned you. So why am I going to treat you well? And they complain about it, but they don't leave. Because you like the amenities, right?
Right.
What you always hear me, we're comfortable in our oppression.
Right. Right. No, because I ain't going to say like I'm giving Republicans a pass. I don't want nobody to think Republicans getting a pass. I'm just saying in general, what have neither party gave?
Nothing. You
know what I'm saying?
They've given us nothing at all.
Yeah.
The only thing that we've ever gotten, well, what did we talk about the other day about the guy in Mississippi? What was his name? Edward something?
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, the guy in Mississippi back during Reconstruction who wrote the literacy test so that black people couldn't vote. Right. And they praise him to this day. Because he was a good old boy for the wrong group.
Yeah. Same thing with Hoover.
Right.
They got the J. Edgar Hoover building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what do we gain by any of these groups? What have we gained by? He just asked, what have the Republicans done for black people? Nothing. They didn't free black people. When black people were enslaved during that horrible time, the only reason why we voted was because Lincoln was a Republican, and we voted Republican because of that. Did we get anything from it? No. What did we get? More and more of a system that got twisted. Why they turned around and ended up paying the former plantation owners millions of dollars because of their lost product.
They don't want to see
that's insane. So that should from then on. The mere fact that we decided that we were going to stay here and listening to elder statesmen that say we were going to stay here and fight for what? You weren't even part of the Constitution. When the Constitution was written, that did not include black people. The Civil Rights access goes to other people. And if it wasn't for Asa Philip Randolph, you wouldn't even have access to the unions because of that. Doesn't matter about the party. Asa Philip Randolph forced Hoover and Roosevelt in order to open up the unions. And Eleanor Roosevelt was the one that made sure that the Tuskegee experiment with the men flying airplanes happened. Because if it wasn't for her, they would have just been down there flying around crop dusters doing nothing.
Like what they was already doing.
Right. So what I'm saying is, if we're worried about a party to do anything for you, you're mistaken. Why were you worried about a party to do anything? What are you doing for yourself? What are you doing for the group of people around you that think like you? If there anybody around, if there's anyone around you that think like you do. Because it's not an easy task to live this way. It's hard.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know, because you're relying on a party. A party to do what? The party that never did anything for a group of people that never did anything for you in the first place? Now, I'm not saying that there weren't people that were sympathetic to the cause, but how often you think you was going to eat at their table? Maybe John Brown, that was about it. And there might have been a few other ones, but we're not talking about the majority, because you see right now, we're looking at what's going on in the world, they're not talking about a majority of people coming, we holding hands and marching and singing Kumbaya. What for what? See, again, if we wondering or thinking about whether parties were going to do anything for us, they're not. It's not their job. They're the same thing. The same group of people. The same group of people with the same propaganda, with the same ideology that says, okay, we'll give you a crumb, but we're not going to give you a plate. And one of the reasons why they destroyed all of those cities that we built, that we were self-contained, that we did for ourselves, well, hey, and you have the free will in order to make that choice. But what did they do to the cities? They destroyed them. Oscarville is Lake Lanier because supposedly somebody did something to a white woman and now it's underwater, and you can still go see the buildings and everything underwater if you dare go and decide that you're going to swim in the lake. That's in Georgia. Yeah, I'm good. Over here in our city, over there where Clark School was, 475 go through it. You destroy part of a black town that people built, had businesses, and were forced to deal with each other. So
yeah, that's cold blooded.
Yeah, but it's a government,
and that goes back to what I always be saying. Like, how you gonna go? That's like okay, I can put it like this. How you gonna go get justice from the person who robbed you?
How in the world the person that murdered, raped, killed, destroy, rip your family apart, and you begging him to give me back some humanity?
Yeah, because that's basically what you're doing. I'm just saying, just on this scale, we asking can we get water fixed? Just the water. Water. When people, man, like I said, I said it today earlier on the show, I go to my auntie house, man, you turn on the water.
You can smell it. You can smell it.
And this is what people are pressed for, and that's just like when I was, because Maurice was on this morning, when he said, like, far as him and the mayor, they was having, like you said, they had they was going at it.
Right, knock down, drag out.
Yeah, knock down, drag out. But he telling them, basically, listen. And that's when he said, he understood the assignment. You know what he said? It's their fault.
Mm-hmm.
What you mean it's our fault? So it's our fault that we finna pay higher for poison water?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's our fault.
Right. Because you gotta spread the jelly on the bread, and everybody gotta pay for something that you really are not supposed to be using.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like, and then to think about it, it's like, damn, is the people really paying attention? You know, like, are you paying attention? Like, y'all voted for this. This who you voted for.
Yeah, all the way across the board.
Yeah, you voted for this.
Because we're hopeful, and that's the sad part. Oh, to answer your question, I don't. But anyway, you got to look at it allegorically. Yeah. So, but we have this hope thing, man. Yeah. We hope. Because we don't want to get out there and do the work. Yeah. We don't want to get out there and do the work. So we have hope that maybe, kind of, sort of, possibly, that, somebody really do something right for us. Yeah. Why? Yeah. First and foremost, do something for yourself first.
But when you don't know, they took everything from you from what you had to do for yourself. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Integration.
Yeah. Integration was the worst thing that ever happened to us.
I think because now, like when you can go to, just think about it. We are consumers.
Yeah. They forced us to be consumers, though.
We consumers. You used to, back then, you had to, don't get me wrong, you had to go get a job, but you always had a skill.
Right.
You always had a side hustle.
Right.
I ain't just talking about selling drugs.
No, that didn't come until later.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, but you always had to have a side gig. It just, to me, it's just like, we done became so, like I feel like we felt we made it because you can go to this, you can go to these stores, you can go to this and that, and you forgot to protect, look out for your own neighborhood.
Yeah, well, we were once they said that we could go and be part of their neighborhood and part of their people.
Yeah.
We ran away from that. That's the reason why we still have the poor sections now, right? There was a time when if you were a doctor and I was sick, or my child was sick, I'd have you come over and look at the child, and then I may not have no money, but you got a meal. Because you were forced to stay with me. You were forced to live in my neighborhood. So we were, hey, Doc, how you doing? Oh, I'm good, sir. How are you? Good.
Right.
Now, the doctors, you don't even know them.
Right.
Because we don't have the same type, we weren't forced. We're no longer forced.
Right.
So we've given and I'm going to use this from my brother, Hubert. He uses this phrase all the time. The illusion of inclusion.
Facts.
We're not included. They can only get picking a certain few people that they're going to have around them and then tell you, hey, look, the reason why you didn't make it is because you're not working hard. But they're not telling you the reason why most of y'all are not making it is because we're putting things in place that you don't. We're giving you a bunch of obstacles that you don't make it.
And if you really watch, it's like they only pick a handful.
They only pick somebody that they can control.
Yeah, that's like what we saying right now. And I'm not saying she might be, I believe she is a brilliant sister. Jasmine Crockett.
Right.
How they pushing her around.
Yeah.
Did the people pick her or did the establishment Democratic Party pick her?
Okay, so let me give you another tip. I mean, you're going to be mad. Y'all going to be mad about this one. 1963 March on Washington. It had to be approved by President Kennedy for it to take place.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? It had to be approved. So yeah, hey Jack, how you doing? Hey Martin, how are you? I'm good. Hey man, do you think we could really do this? I don't know. Let me talk to Congress and them about it. Wait a second though. It had to be approved. And see, I didn't know that. I didn't know that till I finished reading this book I was at about black leadership.
What about that I Have a Dream speech?
We're going to get to that in a second. Okay. Yeah. So, he had to sit there with the SCLC, go to the White House, and talk to them about getting, hold on, I had to take my glasses off too. Talk to them. So it was set up to happen on that day. It wasn't just, hey, I'm calling a march and we're going to make it happen.
Right. Right.
It had to be approved by the Kennedy administration for it to take place.
Right.
And it was supposed to be for poor people. Because that's what it was supposed to be about. That you were trying to have this coalition of poor blacks, poor whites, poor Hispanics, poor whoever, so that they can get better opportunities to have better.
Sounds like now, right?
Right. But it had to be approved. So that kind of, okay, well, we're going to choose you to go up here and we're going to choose you to no, that didn't happen. A Million Man March was not approved. It was a call by Farrakhan. And there's some other politics in there, but it wasn't approved. He just called it and he did it on Savior's Day. That's what that was. But it was not approved by the government. Like, he didn't go to, who was in charge of that?
Clinton.
Clinton. He didn't go to Clinton and his administration and ask for to have that there. That did not take place. It was only approved because we went. But it was not approved because he had a discussion with the Clinton administration to have it. Of course, they knew it was going to happen, but it wasn't like they went to the White House, talked to Clinton to see if we can have it, like what happened in 1963. Completely different. But I had to get this march approved. Wow. Which means that everything else that could possibly be said had to be approved as well. Now, from my understanding about what happened with the I Have a Dream speech, which wasn't what he titled it, and it started out with something completely different. It started out when I'm talking about the history of America up until Lincoln and the Gettysburg Address. Because it was calculated by Miss Ella Baker that it was 100 years later, right, from the signing of the emancipation and so-called freedom of African people from the warfare that we were under, that, so they calculated that part. But from what I recall, and I had to go back and look at whatever tape that they have, he started out talking about Lincoln and how things were horrible for African people that were going through enslavement. And then he folds the paper closed, and then the rest of the speech comes off the top of his head. That's from the little what I know about that. I don't think. Then, of course, later on, they wrote it up as part of the document of the whole thing. But you had two different speeches going on there. You had one speech that was talking about he was dogging America out and America's horrible history towards Native Americans, horrible history towards African people. Then, oh man, I see her face. She sung at his funeral. She yelled out, and Martin, tell him about your dream. He folds his paper closed, and then he goes from there with the I Have a Dream. So it wasn't written. It was something that came off his head.
Yeah, no, but I heard other one, they said that was written because they didn't want him, I guess he had something different.
Okay.
They didn't want him really to go. That's just like, I get what they saying. That's like when Jesse called himself going to the Million Man March. Now what they wanted to do, you know what I'm saying, but what the minister did, he went on with his speech.
Right.
See, they be having, like, you'll see them Jesse Jacksons or the Al Sharpton.
Right.
See, them are the gatekeepers in the black fires.
Right.
People,
and so we have to be aware of that. Mahalia Jackson, thank you. So she was the one that screamed out, Martin, tell him about your dream. So he folds the paper.
Yeah.
So then, of course, now what you're saying is he had it written out anyway, but he must have had it memorized, and then he just go from there.
Because really what they didn't want him to really go. Remember, when he criticized about the Vietnam War, he got in trouble.
Yeah, but that was in 67.
Yeah, but see, that's when he was talking about, that's why he came back and said, I think I integrated, remember, I Have a Dream speech when he said, I dream a little white boy and a little black, they running up the hill, we would be, you know what I'm saying? That's when he was talking about the inclusion.
Right. And in 66, when he made the statement to Harry Belafonte, I fear I have integrated us in, I fear I've integrated us into a burning house, because the morality of the people is never going to change.
Right.
And at that point, now he got to dig a hole because he in one.
Yeah.
He got to dig a hole he's trying to climb out of. But on April 3rd, 1968, he knew it was over with. Yeah. Because that's when he gave the last speech. I've been to the mountaintop.
He said, I've been there, but I might don't get there with y'all, but I done seen it. Yeah, because he you know what I'm saying, and that's when you look at it, because he seen it. He was seeing what was going on. Okay, we got the Voting Rights Act bill passed. What really happened?
Nothing.
You know,
because we didn't get anything from it.
Yeah.
So the only time things changed was when the Panther Party came around, and you had this radical, different discussion about, hey, no, the police are not going to do this.
Right.
You're not going to do this. If your job is to protect and serve, and we got who you're protecting and serving, what you're not going to do is be indiscriminately killing people.
Right. And what's going on now?
Same thing, nothing's changed. We got to use the system against them and create our own system. Based on what? Because you have to know a culture that you're going to base it on in order for you to be able to use that culture. And I don't disagree, trust me, because we got many people that talk about already. Martin Delaney, Dr. Amos Wilson, who wrote a book called Blueprint for Black Power. C.L.R. James, William Edmund Blyden, who all talk about something different. And the one who showed us something different more than anybody else was Honorable Marcus Garvey. We can't use those other groups that I know you might be thinking of because they sleep in the wrong bed, whether you understand it or not. Well, okay. Well, hey, my thing is this: are you in a position to be able to do that? Right? If you say you use the same system that Trump's using, are you? If you're in the same position, then it make it. Let's make it work. But if not, that's like people that always talk about I'm sovereign, and you see what happens to them. After a while, when you load up the courts with this sovereign stuff, they eventually, of course, gonna say, "Well, just throw them all in jail." And they kind of pump the brakes on it then at that point. And I'm not saying, well, why would we not use the system in which we come from? That's all I'm saying. Well, let's use the system that we come from. And if we use the system that we come from, then we'll get better results because we already come from the system. Right? So why not use what we come from already? He said that in 1985, big bro. He said that in an interview in 1985 that he had planned to destroy the system.
Who?
Trump. He said if he ever become a governor or the president, he's going to destroy the two-party system. Two-party system is the same thing.
Yeah, but if you go look at this to show you, he even backed down on what he's saying. What's going on now? Remember he said that he'd get in there, he'd stop the war?
Yeah.
What happened?
No, it's still going
back
on.
going on.
Yeah.
See, at the end of the day, the system, like what he getting to do, is like, don't get it twisted.
Right.
He know if he goes so far, that's why he backed up on certain things.
Right.
You know, there's all I'm gonna get. Trump will go to that edge.
Right.
And then every blue moon, and you'll see he'll change.
Right.
He know what he can do. Okay, he getting rid of the Board of Education. I get that.
So what?
Okay, that's something right there. But if you look at a lot of the stuff that he is, it was hindering us.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
But at the same time, if there's anything hindering us, then why don't we rally together and not even worry about it?
Right.
That's the issue. So all of this stuff that's going on right now, let's boycott Walmart, let's boycott Amazon. That's fine. But what are you doing with the money that you boycotting them with?
Right.
Are you turning around and saying, well, we'll start our own Walmart type thing. We'll start our own Amazon stuff. We'll start,
Yeah.
When are we going to do that? Now, there's something on social media where there's some people who are doing toilet paper, toothbrush, and stuff like that. That's great. We were doing that 50, 60, 70 years ago. And I'm glad it's coming back now, and we should support it.
Right.
We should support it.
Right.
But if you force a company to lose $15 billion in a week because you mad that they don't have black people in the company that they started.
Yeah.
Why don't you start your own? Take that $15 billion and start your own company.
Yeah. I mean,
$15 billion.
No, I get what you're saying. Exactly. That's why when you look at Joy Reid, she wouldn't be. Don't get me wrong. Only thing I took from it, and I tell this people every time, when as the new administration come in,
They
remember she was hard on Trump.
Yeah.
He gonna go to jail. Yeah, Rachel Maddow was talking stuff too, but Rachel Maddow and her are two different people. And what I mean by two different people, right? One got the complexion,
and one don't.
See, when you can't go out there, Joy Reid was going out there saying, and then she did disagree. I mean, I know you can't say it on here, but when she hopped off in that Middle East stuff, and when you know what I'm saying, you can't say that. She went and said that, and she was going against. But if you own your own,
then you can say what you want to,
and you ain't got to worry about it. But she was loving that corporate money.
What's the phrase?
Corporate money.
And I'm comfortable in my oppression.
Right.
We need to put that on the shirt. Because whoever the brother is I got it from, if you ever run across this, brother, I thank you so much. Because it is so true. And people don't understand it. They don't think about it. They go, oh, well, it's not. No. We are people, black people are comfortable in our oppression. We're comfortable.
Oh, facts. Yeah, we are comfortable. Because when you seeing how, like, when you listen, we done seen it.
Yes.
Man, this system, they can throw charges on you. Let's just go with Puffy for an example. Puffy ain't the worst one in the world.
No.
But you know how they want to make Puffy the poster boy for doing wrong.
But guess who else looks at it? They ain't got nothing to do with that. Because they looking at you, they're looking at me.
Right.
Because what they do is they'll use one person and spread the propaganda to every black man that walk. Even if we ain't even on that.
Right.
I don't know who that is. That ain't the point. You're a black man, so therefore it's you. You did it too. Yeah. I don't even know this dude. I ain't been there, no party. I ain't done none of that stuff. But you want to make it so that you vilify me because that's your propaganda about black men.
Yeah, and that's how they do it. They're over. Puffy this. You ain't see Weinstein went in the news like Puffy.
He was quiet.
Yeah.
He was quiet.
You see what they did to R. Kelly. Look how they did him. Yeah. They didn't send Jerry Lee Lewis through that.
No.
They didn't send Elvis through that.
No.
That Hollywood stuff that's been going on. That ain't like
since
that
Hollywood started.
Right, that ain't like that just started. What's been going on? But see, they pick and choose. That's why you think Terry Crews, he couldn't even say nothing because a Hollywood exec groped him. He was one.
My only issue is that you 6'4", 300 pounds of ripping muscle, and you didn't beat the hell out of that dude.
You know why he didn't?
No, because you had to. You got to roll.
And he loved that lifestyle.
Right. So what did we say before?
Yeah.
But this is what the Muslim brother that I follow sometimes said. Yeah. If we had the money, you want to live a decadent lifestyle.
He loved that Hollywood. Do you think he want to come back to Flint?
No.
You think he want to live in Flint?
No.
He used to live in, regardless what somebody say when they like when they be saying, well, okay, because we hear about it, the casting culture. You got to hear about how you got to, men have to, you have to do certain things allegedly if you want to make it if you want to make it, because you know why? They love them houses. They love that, like living
the gated community and all that other stuff.
They love able to go to here, go travel, do this and that, get 40 and 50. Because don't get it twisted. You don't see when you see these certain ones who get through out here in the front, you see them getting that money.
Yeah.
They was picked, but we can't see. We get gave who they want us to like.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's politically as well.
Yeah.
That's politically as well. They wasn't talking about we gonna vilify Malcolm.
Right.
But yet praise King. Why? Because he was the safer of the two men.
Right.
He was the safer of the two men.
Right.
So we'll give him a holiday that y'all had to fight for.
Right.
But you get President's Day off, and all these presidents were murderers and rapists and everything else, but you get President's Day that you can have off.
Right.
But yeah, we'll give you King, and we'll give you a day off too. Yeah. And then we'll give you Juneteenth. We're going to wait till the last minute. But yeah, Amazon got to make sure that y'all know that you're going to have that day off. Because they the ones that sold the shirts. Not the moms and pops that still celebrate it.
Right.
It was Amazon.
Right.
I was sitting in my office when that happened, when we got the call. Next thing I know, Amazon got Juneteenth shirts.
Because they figured it was money.
It's all. It's
yeah,
money.
Yeah, it's money.
Look, big bro.
Yeah.
I love you. We're gonna cut this short,
Okay. Well,
and we're gonna get back to this on Sunday.
See on Sunday, 1:30.
Sunday at 1:30.
We'll be here at 1:30
All
finally,
right.
and then we're gonna follow it back Wednesday or Thursday. We figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
But we're
figure
gonna
it
be
out.
twice a week.
We're gonna be twice a week.
We're gonna overdose you.
Yeah, man. We're gonna drown y'all in it. Chris, go study. Appreciate you. All right, fam. We love y'all.